Hi guys, this is Angela from Panda Kisses, and today we are going to make this cute design, this bunny design by Parker on the Porch. So let's get started. I am making the biggest size. This is the 8x12. I have my 8x12 hoop. I have one piece of tearaway on here. So the first step is to go ahead and stitch your placement step. So let's do that, and I'll come back and show you. Placement stitch, it is really big. This is a big bunny. So, you just need to get a big enough piece of fabric to go over this whole placement stitch. I've already cut my fabric. I just put my fabric over this and cut right there just so I can get a big enough piece. So the freckles on this are stitching next. You're going to be stitching the eyes and the freckles. And the eyes are great. The freckles tend to be really small and dense. If you're on the small size, I definitely suggest putting a piece of cutaway right in this section on the back of your hoop. I would just flip it over and put a little piece of cutaway. I would just tape cutaway, like big enough. This isn't big enough, but to go like right here and tape it. This bigger size probably going to have no issues, so I'm not going to put it on this one. But if you run into ever having an issue with the freckles pulling your fabric through, then just put one little piece of cutaway on the back in that section and you will be fine. I have no issues on these bigger sizes, but I did have an issue on the tiny 5x7 size. Somebody else ran the 5x7 and had no issues. So it might just be this rosette fabric that gave me an issue, or it might be my machine. But if you do run into an issue where the freckles are falling through your fabric and going through your stabilizer, then just put a piece of cutaway back there and you will be golden. My fabric laid down, and I have one sheet of water stabilizer, so I use this water stabilizer. This just helps keep your stitches above your fabric so they don't sink into your thick fabric. And this is really furry, so you can lose your stitches in this fur, and your foot can get stuck on fur too. So whenever I use fur or cherry cloth or anything like that, doing towels, blankets, I always put a sheet of water stabilizer over the top. So our next step is to go ahead and stitch these eyes. So I'm going to change my thread to black. I'm going to stitch that right there, and I'll come back and show you details for you. So the next step is to go ahead and stitch the ears. So we're going to stitch those, and I changed my color to pink. I'm going to stitch it. I'll come back and show you what it looks like right there. So we are going to move on to the next detail on the face, which is the little nose. I'm going to keep mine the same color. You can switch yours if you like, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. I'll come back in a second. The next step is to go ahead and do the first stripe in the rainbow. I'm going to do this hot pink, so put the color you prefer and go ahead and stitch the next step. Okay, there's my hot pink stripe on my rainbow. I'm going to go ahead and do my next color, and that's step 6. I'm going to do green, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch that. I'll come back and show you. This blue, and it's step 7. So go ahead and stitch that. Okay, there's the blue. It's one of my favorite blues. It's super bright and really nice. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the clouds. The clouds are next, and I'm going to use this metallic silver. So I will stitch that and come back and show you how it turns out. Hey guys, so here's the bunny. We finished our last detail, the hands. So now we're going to put the back of our bunny on. So I'm going to take all of this water stabilizer off, and I just pull it. I'm holding my design down so it doesn't pull out of the hoop, because some of these are strong stitches. So I'm just going to get all of this off so I don't have to have it sewn in between the front and the back fabric. Okay. Now it is time to put the back of your bunny on. So you're going to do, this is the right side. You're going to take the right side of your fabric, and you're just going to make sure you have a big enough piece to cover all of the stitch lines. And you can't see the stitch lines right now. You'd have to pull back the fabric to see where they are. But I just make it big enough to go over the same spot, because if I covered it the first time, then it's great for the second. So I'm just going to put this down like this. Okay. And then we're going to go over to our machine, and I don't put anything over this. It stitches fine. There's no fur on this side, so it stitches okay. So I'm going to go back to my machine. I'm going to stitch the very last step and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, here's the bunny. There's what your front of your hoop would look like. This is what the back of your hoop's going to look like. So we are done stitching. We can go ahead and take it out of the hoop. Okay, and then I'm going to just take all the stabilizer off. If you were making the small size and you have that little piece of cutaway right here, then I just cut around it so there are separate little circles right here and leave the little pieces just so it's not all hard on the front of your bunny. But I didn't use it on the big size. I really only use it on the smaller sizes. It seemed to help. Okay, you don't have to get it perfect because you're not going to see any of this. It's going to be inside your bunny, but I don't really want to hear all the paper noise, so I'm getting it off. Okay, so the only place you really need to watch, there's like a placement stitch here. I'm just going to cut it because we don't need it. It's just in my way. So when I cut this, I have all this excess here. I'll show you the other side there. That's what it looks like. You can cut from either side. I'm gonna like cut off some of this so it's easier to cut. I'm gonna cut, you want to leave some right here, so I'm just gonna cut some of this and get rid of it because it's in my way. Okay, so I cut at an angle on these, kind of just like the bags. If you've watched any of the bag tutorials, I cut at an angle because you're gonna have to close this stuffy. So here we go. Going to cut around all of this. Just don't cut your stitch lines is all you have to worry about. I just need to cut. Okay. And when I get back to this other side, I get to the end of the stitch right there, and then I cut out over here too, like that. Okay, there's so much fur. And I cut a little bit more because you really don't need this much. Whew. The fur. Okay, so now you're gonna flip your bunny. So this is a big size, so it's really easy to flip. The 5x7, don't get discouraged. The hole's really small for the ears, and I'll show you kind of like a little technique that I did to get it out. I'm just gonna get it turned inside out, and these ears are still in here. So I do this with this one, but I also do it, these holes are a little bit bigger, so I can stick 2 fingers in here in this hole. The tiny one, the 5x7, you can barely get your pointy finger in there, and since there is stitching on the front of the ear, it's a little bit hard to get in. So I take like 1 finger, like my middle finger, and the stitching's on this side, like I can feel the stitching on the ear. I go with my finger where the stitching is because you can get some grasp of it, and then I just pull out as much as I can. Because you have some traction because there's stitching right there, it's a little easier to pull. And I do this with the little one too. Now this one's coming out really fast and easy because it's bigger. That little one, you just pull, just keep pulling like this and it will come out. That's what I found was easier to do. Use little tools like this as well to help from the inside, but I found that using my finger and pulling straight up with the side of the stitching gave you traction and it was a little easier. So that's my tip. But look how cute. Oh, super cute. So you're gonna need some sort of stuffing I have, let's see if I can get this brand in here. I just have this, it's called Polyfill. And this is the premium performance one. There's lots of choices, so just pick one that you like. Neat. Alright, so I am just going to get some of this and start stuffing it. Now I stuff the ears, if you're in even the small ones, the little tiny ones, I stuff the ears because I want them to stand straight up. So I'm just taking some stuffing and I'm going to stick it in here. And I actually do the ears first, and you'll notice that the stuffing is pretty hard to get up into these ears, even if you're using like a tool like this. It's just because this isn't solid, so you're just pushing through it, not necessarily pushing it forward. So the more I just keep pushing like this, and then the stuffing gets kind of tight because we're getting it kind of into a ball, and then it will just start going up as soon as it gets harder. See how it's going up now? And that whole piece that you saw is going up into this ear, so there isn't any more in here. So that's kind of how I've done it. But then I get it all the way up to the top, and then I pull down, and then I just start putting some more in. So just gonna push over to this side now. So we're gonna need some more stuffing, but now I got some in both the ears. I want this a little higher. Okay, let's get more stuffing. So I'm going to continue stuffing this. I don't think you guys want to watch me stuff this whole bunny, and I will come back and show you what we do next. Okay, I got the bunny stuffed how I want him. When you feel like you got your bunny stuffed the way you want him, now you need to close this hole. Now, if you know how to ladder stitch, it's probably the best thing to do for a stuffed animal, because ladder stitches you don't feel, and they close really well. I am not good at ladder stitching. I probably need to practice some more because I would prefer this ladder stitched, especially on this fur. This fur is really hard to glue. Like, I think the gluing method is perfect on bags and stuff. There would be no reason I would ever want a ladder stitch on that. On this fur, it's hard to get it just right to close because the fur, it's hard to get the glue on the fur. It works, and then it's a little bit hard on the bottom. So I don't necessarily think that the glue is the best method, but it's the only method I really am doing right now. So I'm just going to show you this way. If you know how to ladder stitch, go for that. If you don't know how to ladder stitch, then I know there's YouTube videos because I've watched them. I just haven't been very good at mastering it. I use this fabric tack glue. This is what I'm going to use. It's clear. It dries really fast. You do tend to feel it a little bit on the bottom, like a little hardness. So, and it's a little hard to get like in the right place. So, I got extra. I'm just going to wipe it off. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do it. I went ahead and folded them together and clipped them so they stay kind of closed. I have this one little opening right here. I'm going to take my fabric tack glue and get it down here, and then I'm just going to put it on the edge. And you can see what I say about this fur being all furry. I'm trying to get it right on the inside so I can close this without having a lot of this glue on the outside. But it's fur, so it kind of like comes out on the fur. And so I'm just going to use that, push that glue in because I won't get it all over my nails. Okay, so then I'm going to push it together once I think I got enough glue right there. And I'm going to clip it. So there's that, and then I go on this side and I just find the hole right there and I just do some more. You're just getting enough glue in there to close it. And I'm just using the stick to push that back in, and then I'm gonna close it. Let that dry a minute and then close the last part. Okay, that is all there is to closing it. Now I'm going to let this dry right about 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and show you what we got. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and take these clips off. I think it's dry enough. And then I just kind of pull, squish. There's no hole there. I'm just making sure there's no hole. If there's a hole, then I redo that spot. But you can see it's all closed. There's no holes coming out. It's fuzzy. Okay, so here, see if I can get it in the whole camera. There is your bunny. Super cute. So this is the 8x12 one. It's super easy to make, super cute. 8x12. I've made all the sizes, so I'm going to show them to you real quick. So this is 8x12. This is the 7x12, 7x11. I have to go look it up. I think it's 7x11. This is the next biggest size. And I'll show you just the rainbow colors I use, because the hardest part of making these is picking your colors, huh? So I use like kind of fluorescent-y colors on this one. This is cream, so I use these lighter colors. It turned out really cute. This is the 6x10 right here. I used white, and then I used like a green, a really light blue, and a purple. This is the 8x8 size. Very cute. And then this is the really cute, you can see how big it is in my hands. This is the 5x7 size. It's super adorable. Like I said on the ears, they come through, but just you use one finger and then just pull. Make sure your finger's on this grip part on the inside and pull through. And then you also can use like this to try help get it through. Don't push too hard, else you'll go through your fabric. But it's definitely fine getting through. Super cute. They are adorable. You can kind of put them together so you can see the size differences. If I can get them all in here. I don't know if I can. Okay, can't hold them all. And here's the biggest one. Let me see if I can move my camera a little bit back so I can try to get this in all the way. Probably not, needs to be a little higher. But there's all of them. Let me know if you have any questions. I can't wait to see all your guys' bunnies posted in Parker on the Porch. They are super adorable. Thank you.